What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Riley Stewart. Thank you for coming along this journey with me. Now, today we're going to be talking about my 3-year ownership with my Focus ST. A lot of you have seen a bunch of my videos on it. If you want, I have a bunch in my catalog here. I realize I've never done a full review of my car. Now that I've had it for a few years, I definitely have a couple of opinions on it. Good, some bad, unfortunately. Yes, but I have had it for 3 years and I love it, and I want to tell you guys all about it. So come along with me. We're going to go for a drive and let's talk about the car. Now, I don't know if you noticed, but when I did that startup on my car just now, hold on, let me do adjust. When I did that startup, it bogged down a little bit. So we're gonna talk a little bit about that in a second here. But that's one of the issues with this car. First, let me just say, I've had this car, wow, I'm going straight into a dead end, so I'm having to turn around. I've had this car for about 3 years, a little bit under 3 years. My car's at almost 72,000 miles, 71,861 to be exact. I have had a couple issues with it. But overall, this is the best car I've ever owned. I haven't had a ton of cars in my lifetime, but this is definitely my favorite car. And I recommend it to pretty much anybody that is a car enthusiast, that wants a manual transmission, and is a cool person. But to be honest with you, there are some faults here. Whenever I first got this car, I loved it. I thought it was incredible. But then I quickly started to have some issues with a couple things. Those were, number one, I am a musician and I love music and I love listening to music in my car. The speakers in this car are terrible. They are terrible. It sounds like they're just $1 speakers that you got from Dollar Tree or something. Like, they're awful. I definitely will be upgrading them soon, but you know, money. And then also, another thing I noticed right away is that it was just kind of not as fast as I wanted it to be. So obviously, as you heard when I did the startup, and if you've seen other videos on my channel, my car is tuned. It's a stratified pop tune. I love it. It's been great to me. I've had no issues with it. It's been tuned for about 40,000 miles and haven't had any issues. So it's been great to me. I recommend Stratified if you guys want a good tune. They do pop tunes. They do tunes that aren't pop tunes. But this is a 93 octane tune. So I've used 93 octane since I got the car, pretty much. I tuned it basically right away. I drove it around for about 2,000 or 3,000 miles and I was like, all right, I'm getting this thing tuned. A&W root beer. Sidebar, if you're a root beer drinker, drop your favorite root beer in the comments below. This is just what I could find at the store. I think I'm a mug guy, to be honest, but my second favorite's A&W, and then I give Barks the third position, but mug is good. Mug just stays out of the controversy, you know. Yeah, I recommend getting a tune, and the tune really changed the car immediately. It went from it's because I have some other mods on the vehicle. If you haven't seen my video on my mods, go check it out. It's I just go through all the mods on my car. Haven't really gotten anything since then. Nothing major, at least. You know, I have an intercooler, I have intake, exhaust, catalyst downpipe. So I have a few things on this vehicle. Hello, sir. I'm going through a neighborhood right now. But one thing that really bugged me about this car, aside from it being slow and the speakers being bad, is it's not super comfortable. So I had a Dodge Challenger before this, V6, so it's a lot slower than this car. Definitely like this car better. But one thing that the Challenger did right, and that Dodge always does right, is the interior is so comfortable, so big. It just feels like it's made for a big man. not that I'm saying I'm a big man, but I'm 6 foot and I'm American. I'm not fat, but I'm not saying that. And I'm not saying, if you are fat, like, nothing against you, but if you are, maybe a Dodge would be a great car. But yeah, it's so comfortable. They're big. For a Focus ST, I would not recommend for somebody that is of bigger stature. It's a very small car. It's not good for road trips, really. It's not comfortable. It's really not comfortable at all. Another plus, though, that I have to mention is this car is decently reliable. I honestly do not take care of this car that much. I give it regular oil changes and stuff like that. I'm not saying I don't do the maintenance on it, but I don't I don't baby this thing. And I drive this thing hard, man. I drive it so hard. I'm not killing this thing, but I drive it pretty hard. I get my use out of it. I bought the car, I'm gonna drive it, but the boost gets used quite frequently on this vehicle. Turbo hasn't had any issues, haven't had any issues with exhaust or anything like that. I do make sure that I don't use boost at low RPMs. My kind of, the rule that I have for myself is if I am at under 3,000 RPMs, I will not use any boost. That is my rule to myself, and that has worked out pretty well. I just stalled my car. I'm not focused, so and now I have the freaking what are they called, windshield wipers? Yeah, those just came on. Anyways, well, let's do a little poll because I'm coming out into traffic here. I find that as I'm going through traffic in this car, majority of the time, I'm one of the fastest cars on the road. But also, as we're on the topic of reliability, another thing I want to bring up is things that have gone wrong with reliability. If you have looked into this car at all, you've probably heard of this thing called the purge valve. It happens, it goes out on these cars. It doesn't just go out on the Focus ST, it also goes out on the EcoBoost Mustang. I'm sure it also goes out on the other EcoBoost motors, but this one in particular, it seems to go out quite frequently. So much so to where I'm probably gonna have to replace it again. It'd be my second time that I've had to replace it, and I'm the second owner. I replaced it myself. It's a really easy process. It's really just annoying because you have to pay for it, but it's not that expensive. It was like 50, 60 bucks at Advanced Auto or something like that. And then installation's pretty easy. Just look up a video on YouTube. It's very simple. It took me less than an hour to do. And then another thing on this car that I've had issues with is I think my ball joint is going out or something. I don't work on cars or anything like that, but I hear a weird sound coming from my passenger side of the vehicle where the wheel is, and I asked one of my friends who's a mechanic. He said it could be the ball joint, and I looked up on the forums, and it's a pretty common thing. So that's another thing. He said that would be about 500 bucks. So that sucks. Other than that, it's been pretty good. The only other thing that I have an issue with right now is my exhaust. Literally my exhaust is falling off of my car. I don't know if you've heard my it rattling a little bit. It rattles on the hangers. So I'm gonna have to get that fixed. But I think that's just because the guy that I went to get a muffler delete on this car, he just kind of sucked. So that's, make sure you go to a good place for that if you do that. Actually, one more thing I do want to mention in terms of reliability. I did have an issue with my headlights. As soon as I got the car, my headlights were not working. One of my headlights weren't working. And the headlights on these things are just not fun to replace because, well, it's like $700-800 for a new headlight for just one. So if you need a headlight replacement, you have to shell out all that money, which is why I recommend check out my headlight video. It's one of the most viewed headlight videos on the Focus ST, I think, which is awesome. You guys are great for that. But check it out. I have had lots of different experiences with headlights on these cars, and the ones that I recommend are in that video, the Valand headlights. They're very, very good. I tell you all about them in the video. I highly recommend those. All right, if you've made it this far in the video, I just want to please ask a huge favor. If you don't mind, subscribe. I am still a pretty small channel, just got my first 1,000 subscribers, but we're not stopping here, folks. We're here for more. We're doing it. I have so much planned. I'm about to grind out a whole bunch of videos. We are a small army, but we are mighty for sure right now. Just be here early. Like, you're gonna be glad you're here early, because whenever we have 100,000, 500,000 subs, you're gonna be like, man, I saw his video that one time that he was doing a review, and I was thinking about subscribing, but I was like, maybe I'll just wait until he has 1 million. But now I wish I was one of the first, couple thousand. So just made it to 1,000, so you missed that mark, but just you can be before the 2,000 or the 5,000 or whatever we're at whenever you're watching this video. Okay, next I want to talk about a couple things that I don't really enjoy about the car that I would change. I also want to talk a little bit about, if you're looking for a Focus ST, what I would recommend for you and what you should get. A couple more things I don't really love about the car. While this car does look very good, I think it's getting a little outdated. I think they need to do a refresh in the US. It looks great in the new one looks great in Europe. They either need to bring it back here or do something, because these cars are very, very nice cars, but you can't buy them in the US anymore, which sucks. And if you want a more modernized Focus ST, which I do, you can't have one. It's getting old. Another thing I'm not a huge fan of, this is just me being picky. I have told other people about this and they just think that I'm crazy, so I'm probably just crazy, but I'm not a big fan of the shifter. I don't think it feels that good. I think a lot of other cars, I used to drive valet, so I felt a lot of shifters. I felt a lot of shifters in my day, so don't come at me. This shifter does not feel very, how do you say it? It's not very like notchy. I want it to feel notchy, like I'm a race car driver. It feels like I'm stirring a pot of soup. No, it's not my clutch going out. It's always felt like this. Somebody just honked. I don't know if it was at me. It doesn't feel great. It feels decent, but that's just another thing. So if you're in the market for a Focus ST, this is what I would do. They're getting a little pricey right now in the US, so I would buy one for sure, because I think if anything, the price is only going to go up. I don't think they're going to go down. People are like, oh, I'm going to wait for the car market to go down. Listen, buddy, they don't make these cars anymore, so they're not going down. And if they are, it's going to be by such a negligible amount, it won't matter. What I would recommend is, just find one that's a good price, go and look at it, and then find out about those issues that I said, like say has the purge valve been replaced? If not, start it, see if it kind of bogs down a little bit, like the RPMs drop whenever you start it up. See if it's been modified, ask if it has a tune on it. A lot of these cars are tuned. It's not a bad thing in my opinion if it has been tuned. I would just want to know if you can take the tune off of it and then put your own tune on later, or if there's a tune on it, ask what the tuning company is, and make sure it's a good, reputable company like Stratified. Edge Auto is a great one as well. I would just make sure it's a reputable company that knows Focus STs very well. Honestly, the Cobb tunes are not good on these cars. I don't know much about the Cobb custom tunes, but the Cobb tunes that comes like stock on the Cobb Access port are actually, I've heard they're turbo blowing up. It's gonna be a lot of money. But yeah. And then another thing I would look out for, just ask what mods are done to it. I wouldn't stray away from, you know, if there's, you know, if it has an intercooler and intake and exhaust, I wouldn't really, I wouldn't see that as a big deal. Some people would. My car, when I got it, had some mods on it for sure, and I wasn't, you know, it didn't create a problem for me at all. So I think that's fine. I just would, I would want to know what's on it, because some people don't know what mods are on the cars. Then you go and get a tune. The tuner needs to know what you have on it, and that could, you know, you just want to make sure you know what you're getting into. Next thing, wheels and tires. I want to talk about wheels and tires on this car because, man, it does not grip, man. It does not grip from the factory. Those factory wheels are a little thin, but you can get some better ones. You can get some better ones, certainly. I spent about $1,500 to do wheels and tires combined. Not a bad deal to do all of that, and they are so good now. I love them. I have ESR 18 by 9.5s. My tires are I got 255s all around. I would actually recommend probably going a little bit lower because I do rub in the rear whenever going over some bumps sometimes, because I'm also lowered. So I would recommend going 245 probably, unless you want to roll the fenders or something like that. But I think the look is great on it. But yeah, I would recommend, if you're gonna buy this car, save up some extra dollar bills, get you some wheels and tires, because it doesn't grip. It's front wheel drive. Physics is not on your side with this thing, man. It's got a lot of torque. It's a torque daddy for sure. And if you're pushing, you know, 300, 400 pound-feet of torque, which, you know, you might be if you're gonna tune it, it's not gonna grip at all, and you're gonna get left at the stoplight for sure. Not that you race or anybody would race in this car. Thank you so much, guys, for watching this video. I could talk about this car forever. I'm going to do a lot more videos about this in the future, about this sort of topic. I might dive deeper into certain topics and talk about them. If you guys have questions, don't hesitate to ask me in the comments. Like I said, I've had this car for 3 years, over 70,000 miles. So you know, I would really, honestly, I think I have a decent amount of knowledge on this vehicle. So if you have any questions, just feel free to ask. And there's a bunch of, you know, YouTube experts in the comment section that would love to answer your questions, I'm sure, as well. But yeah, don't forget to leave a like on the video, subscribe if you're new. Also, there's a notification bell. I've never told anybody to do this before, but it's pretty cool. You can hit the notification bell, and then you know when I post a new video. Please do that. But yeah, hope you enjoyed the video, and hope you have a great rest of your day going over this bump.